But don't sink the boat that you built to keep afloat. I know don't sink the boat that you built to keep afloat.
9 billion names of pod.
From Atlanta, where our sewers are 98% clown-free. It's the 9 Billion Names of Pod with Dan Bauman and Michael Reed. I'm Dan Bauman. I'm Floaty McFloaterson. So, let's talk about some stuff. Wow, I tried a clown laugh and it sounded like a horse.
Wow, that's the scariest horse clown ever.
Hey, you know who the best horse is?
Who?
The one that bit Mike Pence on the arm so hard he almost fainted. Good going, Chompy.
Yes, well, we're not talking about horses. What is it, Chapter 2?
Chapter 2.
Part 2? Okay. We're going to hit that. Are we going to do the other stuff first?
Yeah, let's do the other stuff first.
Okay, so the unfortunate events of the past week.
Past
2 weeks?
Creeping up on 2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks now. Some giants of the 80s rock scene, I would say. 70s and 80s rock scene.
70s. More than,
yeah, we lost two.
Two.
Let's start with Money Man, with Eddie Money, who my stepmother went to high school with.
Wow.
Or went to the same high school as around the same time-ish,
Oh.
is what she told me. So, yeah.
So what you're saying is basically you're Eddie Money's illegitimate child and she never told you?
No.
No. Okay.
I don't believe so.
Is that her way of getting around to it? Like,
Considering she's not my mother, no.
Oh, okay.
My stepbrothers couldn't tell you.
Or is she?
Or is she?
You never know.
Yes, Eddie Mahoney from Long Island.
Strong Island.
Strong Island, yeah. He
I believe it was either pancreatic or esophageal cancer.
Yeah, he was diagnosed not too long ago.
It's been, I think, about a year or so. He was still doing
stuff. He was
stuff
still touring.
To fairly recently.
Yeah.
And, Shaken, I Think I'm in Love.
Oh,
Two Tickets to Paradise. And, of course, the one that most everyone knows is Take Me Home Tonight, where he brought back Ronnie Spector from the Ronettes.
And it's funny, there's a podcast I listen to, and they do a thing like, they do a segment where they dissect lyrics, like misheard lyrics, and it was amazing that people didn't know what he was saying, like just like Ronnie sang, and didn't know who that was, that it was Ronnie Spector from the Ronettes.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard that first time when I was 16 years old, and I knew who that was.
Yeah.
But then again, I've been a music whore since basically, diapers.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, yes, Ronnie the Ronettes. I wonder if Phil Spector got a writing credit on Eddie Money. So let me check. Yes, he did.
I guess he would have to, yeah.
Yes, yeah. And I wonder if he's still in jail. He is.
He is, yeah.
Well, when you wave a gun around for years and years and years and then finally probably accidentally kill somebody.
When someone dies in your foyer.
Right, exactly. You flash a gun and, point it at people for years, and then suddenly someone gets shot with your gun in your house.
Right.
Your defense is, not plausible.
Right.
Everyone goes, I've never seen him flash a gun in his house. But he flashed it tons of times
in
out
the studio,
in the studio, in the car, out on the street, in my mama's house.
Yeah.
So, sad to say, we lost Eddie Money. And if we're going strictly by chart success, a much greater loss. Although, let's not grade people's deaths based on what they contributed, but was felt more acutely by certain people. Rick Ocasek. Not Ocasek, of the Cars.
Yes.
And that came as a shock to me.
Yeah, that kind of came out of nowhere.
The biggest shock was the headline that said, Rick Ocasek, lead singer of the Cars, dies at 75. And I went, what?
He was 75?
75? Well, he was in his, I think, early 30s when the Cars hit.
Yeah.
He had already had like 2 or 3 other bands. I mean, Milkwood was an album. They released an album, and it has, I think, 1 or 2 songs that later became Cars songs.
Oh, really?
With, I think, Ben Orr was in that band. So he had been around for, for quite a while. It's like, when a band or an artist hits and you go, wow, I'm glad to see that, older artists are still being able to get out there. No, been out there.
Oh, yeah.
Honed the craft. And now somebody's just finally noticing.
Well, the joke is that it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. Is what it is.
That's about it.
At least.
And unless you're basically handpicked by a record label and groomed and have all your songs written for you and they put you out there,
right? Then
sure, you can become an overnight success.
There are very, very few examples of 4 guys or 4 people get together in a garage and start writing songs and stay together and get discovered and play gigs and make records and become, there's very few. There's more so like...
The only one I can think of is Boston.
U2 was kind of like that. They pretty much came together. Rush more or less was that. It was those 3 guys, and then the one guy left, or they got rid of the one guy and got the other guy in.
You mean Pete Best?
How
did it happen twice?
Exactly. That's the most unlucky drummer in the world.
I know. What the hell?
But there, so most musicians, myself included, I've been in a million failed bands,
right?
But I've been a professional musician for at least 25 years, if not longer. Been playing for 30 something. And
so you started when you were 8?
When I was 25. No, let's go the other way with the joke.
Oh, okay.
No, and so everybody, so. It's not surprising to anyone in the business that the Cars were not his first band and he wasn't 18 when it stopped, when they hit. So.
Exactly. And let's talk about that debut album. It's pretty much the Cars' Greatest Hits Volume 1.
Yeah.
There's about 3 songs on there that are not staples of rock radio. Everything else was either a release single or people just said, this is such a good song, I don't care if it's not a single, radio's going to play it. Moving in Stereo, not a single. Totally playing that.
Well, Fast Times at Ridgemont High was helpful in that.
Yeah. Of course, that was about 5 years after that album came out.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, because I think the first Cars album came out, I want to say late 77, early 78.
Oh,
and Fast Times, I think, was late 82, early 83.
Yeah, something like that.
But yes, for people who, weren't aware of the Cars, which...
It probably gave it that bump, the Wayne's World... Bohemian Rhapsody bump, well earlier.
Yeah, you know what? Perhaps that's the case, and maybe that's one of the first times, labels went, yeah, maybe we should license our songs to films because look at this album track. All of a sudden, the first Cars album is selling 10 times as much.
5-year-old album.
Exactly.
Is
so, and as much as I might be tempted to have that scene in my head every time I hear Moving in Stereo, I don't.
Oh, yeah.
It hasn't, when I see the scene, I think of the song, but when I hear the song, I don't think of the scene.
Yeah,
because it just
Well, you had probably heard that song a million times before that movie you ever saw that movie.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of hard. For me, music just kind of welled up in one great wave, My parents were endlessly irritated with me by the fact that every single penny that I got went into buying music.
Yeah.
And pretty much that lasted until I was until I bought my house. And then I kind of went easy there. But if I had all the music and all the time that I spent getting that music and searching for it back, I could add another, decade onto my life and my house would be paid off now.
Right.
But great memories. Look, I can still, every time I hear certain songs, I go, I remember where I was when I finally found that record.
Oh,
It still hasn't come out on CD, but I've got it. So suck it.
What I found really interesting was on like radio and television, when they were announcing, or even online, when they were announcing that Rick Ocasek had passed, they kept playing Drive, which was ironic.
Well, not. He wrote it.
He did write it, but it's not him singing it.
I understand. I understand.
Yes, he wrote it, and yes, it was a huge hit for the Cars, but it wasn't his voice.
It's like it's not like there's only one Cars hit and like lesser songs. You could have played an Ocasek written and sung song with no problem whatsoever. You might think, which was infinitely bigger.
My Best Friend's Girl. I mean,
is that? Yeah. That's Ocasek.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a mutual friend who I will not name here for fear of shaming her, but she this happened before Rick Ocasek's death. It came up in conversation, and I said, no, that song's sung by Benjamin Orr, and like, oh, so it's not the Cars? Like, no, it's the Cars.
It's the drummer.
They have two. No, it's the bass.
I thought he was the drummer.
No.
Okay.
No, he's the he's the bass player. Yeah, he's the bass player.
Surprised I didn't know that.
Also did some keyboards, I think.
I think he played keys on that song for sure. Yeah.
But she didn't know that there was any other person singing lead.
That was my point.
And if you pay attention, of course. But if you just think of Cars and it all melds into one, I mean, sorry, Ben.
Yeah,
that's the way it is. But we lost Ben Orr in 2000. I think.
He's been gone a long time.
And God bless, I guess I want to say maybe Todd Rundgren. Remember, there were 4 remaining Cars left.
Okay.
Rick Ocasek being one, and the other 3. 2 of those 3 got together with Rick Ocasek. I think it was Elliot Easton and Craig Robinson, or Craig, one of the other guys in the band, to do the new Cars.
Okay. Because
they couldn't get Rick to agree to come back.
Oh.
And they said, fine, we'll do some car stuff. We'll do some, Utopia. We'll get Todd Rundgren out there. We'll do a thing. And apparently really kind of pissed Rick off.
Oh, yeah.
But not so much that when the time was right some years later, we got a new Cars album. After it was 25, 30 years after their last record.
Wow.
Close to it. Maybe 20, 25. We got Move Like This, which is a good record. It's not, Blue Tip is probably the best track on the album.
Okay.
And it was pure the Cars. I mean, Rick wrote the songs and he sang all the songs, of course, because Ben was into the band. And they did a very brief 11-city tour. I did not get to go to that. And now I will never see the Cars live.
No.
Which, from what I understand, they don't do much. They're Richie Blackmore, all of them. They stand where they are, they play their stuff, and then they leave. There's no
show.
There's no, wow, yeah, they're not getting down, they're not swinging around. They're just, and this was back when they were in their, their 20s and 30s. They're not, that's the irony of the title, Move Like This. Like, we move like this. We play our instruments. We don't get all into the music. We're not like, we're not pumping up the crowd. And there's something to be said for that. Good musicianship, craftsmanship. I mean, hey, I'm a big fan of Steely Dan. They do nothing but play the music really well.
Yeah. Well, it's difficult music. That's also why.
Yes. Well, yeah, that's true. So anyway, Rick Ocasek wrote tons of songs. Now, Benjamin Orr wrote a number of songs as well. Some of them became singles, but for the most part, it was a Rick show.
Yeah.
And finding out that he was 75, and he produced a number of other bands. Weezer, the Blue Album. Do you like Buddy Holly?
Yeah,
that's Rick on producing. He also produced a band called Suicide.
Okay,
with Alan Vega's band, I believe. And apparently some people got weird because Billy Idol said, a terrible loss. I loved your work with #suicide. And some people went, oh my God, Rick Ocasek killed himself.
No.
Oh my God, he split from his wife the year before. He put up his house for sale. He must have... No. The band Suicide, not actual killing yourself.
Right.
From what I understand from the statement from the family... He was recovering from an undisclosed type of surgery. What that was, don't know.
Yeah.
and he passed peacefully in his sleep. That's it. And you know, I support that.
Yeah.
You know, if I could pick a way to go, I think quietly in your sleep when you're not expecting it probably is about the best way to go.
Yes.
At least for you.
Right. Right. The way I would not want to go is eaten by a fucking clown in the middle of a sewer. Transition. Segue.
Wow. Your segues are 90-degree angles, and I think I left a little skin at that turn.
Strip your gears, shifting that fast.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I could yammer on for days about the cars.
Yeah.
God, I love them. But, yeah. Let's hear from you first on your give it your general thoughts and letter grade.
Okay. Overall, I did not think it was near as good as Part 1, Chapter 1.
Agreed.
I thought it was fine. I thought the casting was good. I thought I have at least one huge thing that bugged me through the whole movie. But overall, I mean, B-, maybe.
All right. I thought it was kind of a heap of shit with a few kernels of touching, heartfelt. Okay.
Okay, why so against?
Let's start off with the first scene.
Okay.
What the fuck was that?
What was the first scene?
The hate crime against the two gay gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
Stereotype much?
Yeah.
What was the purpose of that scene? I tried, when I was talking with Topher after the movie, say, well, maybe it needed to be a same-sex couple so that the partner would go after, would go after him when perhaps a female wouldn't. But then again, that plays into yet another stereotype. She would scream on the bridge, and do nothing when she could just as easily dive in or go down to the, It just felt why. It felt why. And I understand in the book, the town of Derry, when it awakens, it makes people more violent, more angry. It's just, it's like turning the hate machine up 1,000 notches. And I get that. But you have to take the film on the terms it's presented to you in the film. It can't rely on you knowing that about Derry from the book. Can we agree about that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right. I mean,
okay.
You can have things obviously from the book that, are presented as they were in the book. But if you're relying on certain scenes to come across as real and necessary, but it's predicated on your knowledge of certain aspects of the book, no, you have to watch it as if you don't know the source material and let them present what they're, presenting the show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get your point. I agree. I don't disagree.
What's the point? What do you think the point of that scene was? That it is back? Okay. Why does it have to manifest itself in a stereotypical presentation of gay men? Obviously, yes, in the 80s, that the times were different, blah, blah, blah. But still, I just, when the movie was over, when the lights came off to credit, Topher and I looked at each other and just kind of went, ugh.
Okay.
I don't like the film.
Okay. No, that's fine.
I don't like it. That said, yes, there are several poignant, wonderful, creepy moments. There are...
I just thought it was overall a poorly made film. I didn't think... I thought the first one was really well done.
It was tight. It was, thank God they didn't try to address the the vomiting turtle in part 2, because that would have been
well, that's the thing. The way it actually works, I mean, the Ritual of Chud and the Maturin and all that, it's unfilmable. It can't possibly work. I mean, you have to wrap each other around and tell jokes until one of you laughs and then bite the tongue of the other one. It doesn't make any sense. You know, it's just not.
And even having, Mike basically take ayahuasca, for lack of a better.
Yeah.
They didn't say what it was.
They said it was Maturin. That's what they kept calling it.
Oh, they did.
So they snuck the word in. Maturin, if you hadn't read the book, Maturin was kind of the yang to the yin of, or the other way around, of Pennywise, of it. It was the like a cosmic interdimensional turtle, for lack of a better term, that vomited up our universe because it had a stomach ache. See, it's a weird ass book.
and for that reason, I have as my second novel that I'm going to be reading, I'm going to reread it.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and reread it.
I considered redoing that. I don't think I have a copy of it, but I had considered it because I wanted to see how it held up.
Yeah, well, I mean, I read it when it came out. So
and
that
I read
meant
it.
I was 18, 19
right
when it came out.
And I read it in the early 90s, so it's been quite a long time.
Yeah. So I just
the thing that bugged me filmmaking standpoint was so many times did they do the stupid gag of there's something around the corner, there's nothing around the corner, oh my god, it's behind me. They did it like 8 times, and it's like it doesn't work over and over and over.
I could just seem to, hey, we're throwing horror movie conventions on, we're throwing them out and we're doing them a different way. Like, okay,
but they weren't. They were doing tropey horror movie nonsense over and over and over. The same stupid jump scare.
Yeah. Jump scare. 21 jump scares.
Nice. And it just didn't work. I thought the casting was good.
The casting was brilliant, especially Bill Hader.
Without a doubt.
Holy crap.
Without a doubt.
This film does not deserve an Oscar, but his performance does.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, just the first time you see him, he's vomiting.
Yeah.
Literally like almost onto you because he's on a ledge above you. They're shooting upwards. You're like, bleh, you know. The guy who played Eddie.
Yeah.
Wow. That's good casting, because that
he looked
literally
exactly like that kid.
I mean, literally, that's just like they just puffed him up a bit and
right.
made him adult, and that was it. It was brilliant casting.
Yep.
Jessica Chastain, I didn't really.
She was fine.
She was fine. I didn't feel the essence that Sophia Lillis brought to the role, but let's talk about Ben. Hey there, Beefcake.
Yeah.
Not too
shabby.
Not too shabby.
McAvoy was, again, fine.
Yeah, he was good.
He's always good, but he was fine. Like, yeah, without a doubt. And I can't say enough about Bill Skarsgård. I mean,
oh yeah,
everyone's like, oh, Tim Curry this, Tim Curry that. It's a different thing, but his portrayal is unbelievable. So well done.
Yeah, it's like you're comparing apples to other apples that are not the same apples.
Have you seen, I don't think there's a video of it, but have you seen the still pictures? There's 2 still pictures back to back, and it's Bill Hader and Bill Skarsgård, and they're on the set. He's in full Pennywise, and they're talking, and it's something like, the transcript is, so that thing they did to your eyes, man, that's really cool. How did they do that in post, or was that your idea? And the next shot is Bill Skarsgård like just doing that thing with his eyes, and Bill Hader like throwing his script up in the air because he didn't realize he could just do it.
Now I saw him on I think it was Stephen Colbert, and apparently his whole family has the ability to do that. Cheeks and the mouth to look, that's not special effects,
right?
That's him doing it.
Neither is like looking his eyeballs in 2 different directions. Like he said after he got the gig, he said to the director, he's like, yeah, I got a present for you, watch this, and like did the thing, and they were like, oh my god.
He goes to the top of the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Pennywise was okay. Was good.
Yeah, I think his portrayal was really, really well done.
It almost seemed like they, some writers will card out a play or a movie and write the bits,
outline
write the scene. This has to happen. We'll put that there. We'll put that there.
Yeah.
It almost kind of seems like they took the deck in order, pulled off the opening and the closing, and then just threw the rest of them up in the air, and then gathered them up in random order and went, all right, let's shoot it like that. It seemed very scattershot.
Yeah.
And you have to find a talisman to... I'm like, all right, so this is just an excuse to get them alone so they all have individual, more Pennywise.
Yeah.
So they individually can get scared just like they did in the first one.
Right.
And it's like that band that has that unique hit single off their debut album that came out of nowhere. And they went, oh, we were just okay. So they do almost an identical kind of song for the second album, and it fails miserably.
Yeah.
That's this film.
Yeah.
It just, I did not like it. Now, there were scenes that were good, that were nice. The CGI in the Chinese, in the fortune, was not one of the good scenes. That was just, and that's from the book. That's right from the book.
Is it?
Yes, it is. And it was really bad in 1990 when they, and it was not
not much better.
Not much better in this one. Just I talk some.
The one thing that I thought was pretty great,
yeah,
was when McAvoy, when Bill finds his bicycle,
yeah,
in the shop.
All right, we're gonna go there.
Yeah, we're gonna go there. And spoilers if you haven't seen it by now. We're gonna go there. But there is a crusty old shopkeeper there who's gonna sell him his old bike back, who is played by good old Uncle Stevie,
Stephen King, and the running joke that they really.
They beat it into the ground.
They beat it into the freaking ground. They set it up, and I went, "Oh, that was funny." And like, "Oh, you're doing it again." Oh, and you're doing it again. Okay. McAvoy,
Bill
Denbrough, is a writer, and apparently his endings all suck.
Yeah.
This works on two levels because one, a lot of people say the ending of Stephen King's books sucked.
Exactly.
And specifically, the ending of It sucked.
Yeah.
Evilness can do all this stuff. Oh, it's a giant spider. Stab, 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 and it's dead. Okay, we're gone.
Right.
Worst ending to a book that was so fucking brilliant. It's just like you got to the end and went, fuck it. Just, I want this thing done. And just writes the crappiest ending possible. The crappy ending of the book and the miniseries was the giant spider.
Yeah.
And god damn it, if they didn't bring out the spider bit for a little bit towards the end, I went, you're not gonna, and they didn't. But
okay, my take on the ending, because I knew you were gonna have a problem with it. As soon as he got spidery, I was like, okay, it's not that it's a giant spider in this.
No. It's Pennywise with spider-like appendages.
Well, it's a shape-shifting thing.
Right. And I didn't have a problem with that. It was more like a, like, we're going to do this.
We're going to do
and get you all upset. Like, oh, okay, then it didn't become what we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I don't think that was anywhere near its true form, or it has an actual true form.
No, it does have a true form. We see it. It's the Deadlights.
Right.
Those three orbs, and of course... We saw them in the first one inside Pennywise when Beverly was looking in there. But there are those spinning orbs up there. That's the true form of it.
Right.
And I love when was it not Eddie, Bill Hader's character.
Richie.
When Richie goes, "Come on, you fucking," and literally just like that, he is totally enthralled of
Yep.
it. Like, holy crap. Like, so why didn't you do that earlier, Pennywise? If you had that power.
You know.
Yes, of course. He wants to tenderize them with their fear so they taste better.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, all right. I can only imagine how weird the appetites of the turtle must be if tenderized with fear, really he eats people. It's just that children are easier to terrorize, so they taste better.
Mm-hmm.
But, when there was the guy that fell into the river, after being, brutalized by the homophobe gang, and he was obviously terrified, and that made him tasty. So, it mostly goes for children because they're easier to prey upon and get them afraid. But, hey, if you can get an 80-year-old woman, scared, chomp, chomp, chomp.
Yep.
Speaking of 80-year-old women,
Yeah.
boy, that was a whole...
That was a whole thing that happened. Yeah.
And why would you put that precious postcard and seal it up into the wainscoting?
Well, who knows?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Yeah. Well, he carried it around in his wallet, evidently, his copy of it or whatever he did. He had something in his wallet with it on it. Like, oh no, it was his page from the yearbook that she signed. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So he carried his little token, but yes, why did you? Because she probably had to like leave the house because of her father and all.
Well,
that
yeah,
stuff.
Once you kill your father,
Yeah, exactly.
it's kind of like, no, you're not going to stay here. We're going to go ahead and
that scene with her and her husband was pretty rough too. And I was like, really? Yes, we had to have her going. Repeating history.
Exactly. And that's kind of, they're trying to show the echoes of their childhood in the adults.
Yeah.
To some degree. I mean, obviously, if Richie didn't become a comedian or at least a comedy writer, like totally missing, his calling.
Yeah.
And if Stan didn't become a sniveling little shit, as an adult, which he did. Did you notice Eddie's wife?
I didn't at the time, but I know what you're talking about. Yes,
Eddie's wife.
So they did a really interesting
casting
in
It Chapter 1. Eddie's mother was this large and kind of. There's some kind of a makeup thing being done that just kind of...
She looked kind of gross, yeah.
Kind of just always sweaty and weird and gross.
And overbearing and like made him the suffocating, made him the hypochondriac that he is, always terrified that he was going to hurt himself or get sick or whatever.
Exactly. Well, they got the same actress
to play his wife.
So
he literally married his mother.
He married his mother, and she's just as overbearing and overconcerned.
And she's only in like one scene in each movie, but that was pretty. That was pretty slick.
There's a couple of scenes in the first movie.
In the first movie, yeah, you're right, but not the wife.
And the wife, it's barely less than 10 seconds. But you hear her on the phone, you see it, and you're like, hey, isn't that? And you look it up and you go, oh my God.
That's some pretty slick casting, I gotta admit.
And that provoked a wry smile.
Yes.
I was like, I like that just fine. Like I said, there are little moments here and there. The fun house.
Yeah.
Very the kid getting eaten.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down with that.
Yep.
That was, of course the best part of it was that sound. Like, what's that sound? It's Pennywise's, 2-foot-long tongue licking the glass. Ugh. I'm like, oh, that's
there was some good, nasty, like scary. Not scary, but like some good creepy stuff in the movie. That's what I'll say.
Did you? Now you said you've read It the book back in the day.
Yeah.
You remember how it took the form of the movie monsters of the day.
Yes.
They transferred they put the time up about 30 years different,
right,
or 27 years perhaps.
Yeah, exactly.
They aged it up, so of course, yes, you could have some mummies and Draculas and stuff, but it'd be more like Freddy's, or in It Chapter 2 more like a scene from The Thing.
Oh yes,
Stan's head. And I was mouthing to myself, you've got to be fucking kidding. And then all of a sudden, Eddie goes, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah, it was a 100% John Carpenter's The Thing reference.
Yep. Which you think, hey, they're ripping that off. No. It is taking the shape of the things that scare it.
Yep.
They would have been watching things like The Thing, which came out, I want to say, late 70s, very, very early 80s.
1980, maybe 79, maybe 80
something
maybe.
like that. And this, takes place, I think this takes place in, as kids, takes place in 89.
Something like that, yeah.
And
it's 27 years
past,
from now.
Which, by the way, do you know this? I just found this out. The release date of the first It miniseries, add up the numbers, 27.
Yeah.
The release date of both part 1 and part 2 equal 27.
And the miniseries premiered 27 years ago.
Yep.
So
Now, I don't know if I'll sell you the rights, but we gotta wait.
Release them on these dates.
We gotta wait. It's 4 years away. Just wait.
Yeah.
I want to release. I don't know if that's just a happy accident.
No, it was planned for sure. There's no way that happened by accident, but I don't know who instigated that. If it was him, if it was the director being it could have been the director being a total fanboy and like, here's what we're gonna do.
It could be. Although, if he was such a fanboy, I mean, there's no possible way that the death of it could live up to what you want it to be.
No.
Because it wasn't in the book, it wasn't in the miniseries.
Yeah.
But at the end, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Oh, you're making me...
Yes, you're standing up
yelling
to
at
me. Yeah.
Oh no, why are you saying these harmful things? I'm becoming tiny. And it got kind of creepy and melty.
Very, if you saw Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, very Voldemort's creepy little soul under the bench in King's Cross Station, where it's like you've defeated it and you've melted it down.
Yeah. And that was,
I mean, it was serviceable. It was fine.
Yeah. At least it wasn't a giant big spider that you just stabbed. Like, really? A knife could take care of it?
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Should have stabbed that.
And it's good that they didn't go with all the interdimensional stuff, because it just couldn't. It would be its own movie.
Well, at already 10 minutes shy of 3 hours... There is no room for it.
No,
there's absolutely no room. Now, when we saw it the first one, Topher said, "Mark my words, they're going to do 2 movies after the success of this. They're going to do 2 movies it'll be a trilogy of it." And they didn't go that way, but I kind of wish they had.
From what I understand, they're going to stitch it all together and make one big giant movie. I heard, with more scenes in it, but I don't know how well this one did to warrant that.
Oh, it's doing fine.
Yeah, it was number 1 for like 2 weeks in a row at least.
It's making the money.
Yeah,
can't say the same for the Goldfinch. Ouch.
What is that?
It's a Pulitzer Prize winning novel from, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. And it's about a terrorist bombing in a museum and a kid who steals the Goldfinch, which is an actual painting.
Okay.
I think it takes place in the Netherlands, in The Hague. And, he takes it and steals it, and what happens to him through his life. I, for one, saw the trailer and went, ooh, I want to see that. Apparently, I was the only one.
Well,
after I think a week in release, it's made like $6 million off a $45 million budget.
Oof.
Yeah,
it might make its money back off video, but not a lot.
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah,
it's gonna be tough.
It'll take a long time.
Very, very,
with
very.
Streaming rights and
maybe Warner Brothers is going to take a hit on that, which is a shame because, I don't know if if it's doing poorly because it's a badly made film. I mean, I didn't check Rotten Tomatoes, but this is a Pulitzer Prize winning novel. I have not read it, but obviously it must have some
It just doesn't have the
quality to it, but it doesn't have the same appeal as spandex and
right.
fucking
It's not a
killer
superhero
clowns,
movie, and that's hard to.
which just
it's not a popcorn movie. It's a I want to sit and watch a film.
Right.
It's not a movie. It's a film.
and that just makes me cry for America and the rest of the world.
Well, yeah.
It's the same. Why would I want to read the book when I could just go see the movie? Like,
Well,
why would I ever want to read a book?
Well, here's the thing. That doesn't stop me from reading a book at all.
I know, and there's always going to be
Yeah.
a core. I'm happy to say that the vast majority of the people that I know and love and associate with in my life, they are book readers, which is probably what draws me to them and them to me.
Of course.
There's a certain unspoken, cultural literacy that we have. And the fact that, quality films like that are made and then don't make their money back.
Yeah,
It's
sad.
it's show business, not show charity.
Yeah.
But a film that just came out that I am absolutely going to see, maybe more than once, the Downton Abbey movie, which is halfway between popcorn and high art.
It's interesting. It's an interesting.
Have you ever watched Downton Abbey?
I have not.
Oh my
Strangely
gosh.
enough, like Courtney,
With Courtney.
costume dramas are her thing. And
Same here.
We've just never we never started it. So that's what it is. She's
man.
never like turned on an episode and gotten hooked. So
I was hooked by the very first bringing the newspaper to Lord Grantham, and I went, the way they're talking, I bet you it's about the Titanic sinking. And it was. And I went, Julian Fellows, all right, tell me some more story. And he does.
okay.
So I'm, the tagline, Downton Abbey, the movie we've been waiting for. I went, well, yeah, but you don't have to say it in the promo. Dude, this isn't fucking, Apocalypse Now or some other, monumental piece of art, theoretically. Just ease yourself. It's basically an extended Christmas episode of Downton Abbey. So don't get too high on yourself there.
Right.
So
speaking of promos, when we saw it, did you get kind of an interesting teaser trailer that took you by surprise for a second?
I don't remember.
We're watching, and that weird creepy It music starts playing, and the balloons start coming up, and the Warner Brothers shield comes up.
Yeah, and it's not.
And then a DC logo comes up.
No, it's for Joker.
No, it wasn't for Joker.
Wasn't it?
No, it was. So, and you see, this figure coming shaped like Pennywise, and we're like, me and my buddy Jared, we look at each other like, wait, DC? Why would DC? And then lights up, and it's Margot Robbie. It's Harley Quinn. And she's got her bat. It's for Birds of Prey. And she goes, I'm so fucking over clowns. Boom.
Okay, yes. We did get that.
Yeah.
We did get that. And I was like, okay, that's, I kind of like that specific trailer that only really makes sense.
Connected to this
film. Although, Joker, clown.
Yeah, so we get to see her as Harley. We didn't see anything
Anybody
else. But we did get an announcement of the cast of James Gunn's Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And it is huge.
I mean, I saw the picture with the list, and the bottom line of names was cut in half because the picture was so huge with so many freaking names. I had to click on it to get the full photograph. And let's face it, I'd say 80% of them are who? Who are these people?
Right.
But, notice one name that is not there.
Yes.
We're not getting Will Smith, and we're also
two names,
and not getting Jared Leto.
Right.
Now, whether they just withheld that and we're going to get a little something, more likely in the case of Leto than Will Smith. I think he's done with that, but who knows?
Unless it's just a sneaky, we're not going to tell you that Leto's in it. So
he badmouthed.
He shit all over the movie.
He talked a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And let's face it, because he put in a kind of a shit performance.
Right. So David Smolshin, who is a character actor, you know that you don't know. He was one of the guys from Ant-Man. He's one of his buddies. He was in Dark Knight. He's been around. John Cena, the wrestler. Okay.
Well, James Gunn has had some success with wrestlers.
Yes, he has.
Because he's also in the film.
Who?
From Guardians.
Well, Michael Rooker is in it.
David.
No, I don't see him. Not Dave Bautista.
Yeah, I thought he was in it.
Not on this list. I'm looking at the tweet now.
Well, maybe.
Jai Courtney, who was Spawn, and he's on Arrow as another DC hero. So I don't know how that works.
Oh, sidebar, Your Honor.
Yes.
Tom Welling's coming back as Superman for the Arrowverse.
Yes, for Crisis on Infinite Earths.
And I would be excited about that if I had time to catch up on 9,000 episodes of television, which I won't, and I don't. So continue.
Nathan Fillion,
classic,
and they're buddies. They did Slither and they did a bunch of stuff together. Sean Gunn, which is great. A bunch of names. Pete Davidson. I don't know. Taika Waititi. That's hilarious.
Oh.
Steve Agee is great. Peter Capaldi.
Oh, really?
Peter Capaldi, Jennifer Holland, Viola Davis. So he's bringing
she's back.
Idris Elba. I don't know who he's playing.
Holy shit! Yes.
Margot Robbie and Michael Rooker. But the best part of the tweet is, look at what James said.
Don't get too attacked. So maybe it'll be maybe it'll be like Police Squad.
He's gonna be blowing some heads off.
There'll be some dead people in the first scene, like
again, as I've said in the first, I watched that one trailer and then there was like 6 of them for 1 second, and the rest of the thing there was only 5 of them. I was like, okay, they're gonna make an example of somebody. That's how it works. Waller's gonna blow somebody's head off,
of course.
And that guy Slipknot, oof, that was off. That was rough. But I'm excited about.
Well, it's James Gunn.
Yes, it's James Gunn.
And this never would have happened if Disney hadn't buckled under PC pressure and fired him. And then, of course, realized, oh, wow, that golden goose we had like 40 of them. Now we only have 39. Let's bring one more,
I like to think it was. I hope to think it was.
We have to
do this,
but we'll bring you back.
We'll bring you back. Just sit tight. But to his credit, when he got called back, he was like, "No, I'm not going to do Guardians 3 until I finish Suicide Squad. It's not like I'm jumping ship on them because you're having me back."
Right.
So, and I've read that they might be kind of handing the keys over to him for the DC EU. Which would be phenomenal.
Damn.
They got to do something. They really do. I mean, Wonder Woman 84, they've got next year. They've got Birds of Prey coming out.
I'm pumped for.
Because
it's 84.
It's going to be a little...
And it's Wonder Woman.
Yeah, and she's so good. Patty Jenkins' direction is so good. Kristen Wiig is the villain.
Oh.
She's playing Cheetah. I don't know how they're going to do that because Cheetah looks kind of silly in the comics because she's a woman who's kind of a cheetah.
But the way they're doing stuff now, you'll see it and go, yeah, they'll nailed it.
And they have...
Well, it's DC, but it's also Patty Jenkins,
right?
So it'll be okay.
If it was
Cheetah in like the new Batman, it'd be like, it's going to be shit.
Yeah, it would be a shit costume.
And then it's totally shit.
And I mean, they've been laying low on because it's been done for a while. They didn't want to go up against. It was originally scheduled for this past spring, and they were like, we're not going anywhere near Endgame. Fuck that. We're not going to even try to put another superhero movie out during when Endgame rolls around. Yeah. But in all that time, they have not released a picture of her as Cheetah at all. The only thing we have seen is some new weird looking, well, it's not new, I think it's from the comics, some gold armor that Diana has.
All right.
And it looks okay, but I want to see more. They've only dropped a couple little pictures here and there, so they're laying low on it. But I'm very excited about that. I'm down with Birds of Prey. I want to see what they do with it. I mean, it's Ewan McGregor is playing Black Mask supposedly. And
what's with all these Scottish men doing so well in the films these days?
Well, I mean, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi, man. What are you gonna do? And Margot Robbie.
I told you what my wish for that series is.
What?
I just want Obi-Wan pacing back and forth through Beggar's Canyon, muttering furiously and yelling randomly at Jawas. Right. That's it. I want 12 episodes of just that. Maybe some other shit happens too, but I want pacing, I want muttering, I want Jawa abuse.
An episode that's an hour and a half long, and 45 minutes of it is him just walking to the Lara's homestead, checking out Luke.
Yeah,
all right, he's okay. 45 minutes walking back to his
maybe ducking into the kitchen for a little blue milk roll.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good. All right, let's get out of here.
So
lovely. Yeah, Birds of Prey. Yeah, I'm down.
I'm down.
And if for another reason, just to see Margot Robbie in the and the outfit there.
Well, it's a new outfit. It's new outfits, and she has a little more agency with the character now, so she's like, it's not going to be quite as ridiculous. It's still definitely Harley. It's more just weird and like party girl Harley instead of the like stripper Harley. So, easy. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. Somebody, what's her name, Mary Elizabeth Winstead from a lot of stuff from Scott Pilgrim versus the World and a bunch of stuff. She's playing Huntress, which is cool, and I forget the lady's playing Black Canary. So I'm excited. I'm excited about that. I'm still so trepidatious and weirded out by the Joker movie because
I think it's going to be a fucking piece of brilliant work. I have this feeling. When they first announced it, I went, why? What? Huh? And I've seen some trailers.
Yeah.
I've seen some and I'm like, this has a feeling.
They keep comparing it to, and after you see the second trailer, it makes more sense. They keep comparing it to The King of Comedy.
Well, that's because of De Niro.
Because of De Niro, yes. But, yeah, it's one of those things where I think it's going to, if you, like, take the Batman out of it.
Right.
Yes, it's going to be, it looks like a Scorsese movie from like the 70s.
Yeah.
It's got that gritty.
Exactly. It basically has that Dark Knight, feel where it's like grounded in realism rather than high camp.
Yeah, we're looking at like the really bad part of Gotham because it is definitely Gotham and it's definitely, there's Arkham something. There's like he works or he goes to his therapist or something is Arkham something or other.
Right.
But it's not like, there's no Commissioner Gordon, and there's no. At least I don't know.
Thing is, it based on the trailers that I've seen, it really makes Joker come off as a sympathetic character, at least as they
kind of, yeah, at the beginning.
See.
Yeah.
Now, of course, maybe all the scenes we see are in the first, hour of the film.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he completely.
Yeah, they say it's like a lot like Falling Down too. That's what it looks like.
Yeah,
it just gets worse and worse.
That's what a lot of people say. It's like, didn't we already see this film 25 years ago called Falling Down?
Well, there's a whole in it mirrors a book called The Killing Joke. I've told you that before, and the whole like the only backstory that he really has, or the thing that he lynches onto is one bad day can change somebody.
Right.
And that's what it looks like they're leaning heavy on. Like how he goes from like sad sack schlub to something really bad happening, and that's what pushes him over the edge. And just like one bad day makes all the difference. And it looks like, it looks good, but I'm like, I don't understand what this is.
It kind of looks like, good-natured clown beatdown comes back, and then there's that one point where he doesn't come back,
Yeah, he just stops taking it.
It's like, no, I will persevere. Call me Joker.
Yeah.
And he just starts to disassociate or something. I don't know. It's a film that I'm very interested in, and I am not a Joaquin Phoenix fan.
No, but he
looks really good in this. He looks like
he's kind of nuts anyway. Like in a way, if it might all be an act, but it's also he's definitely fits the.
He's done some creepy, weird movies. Remember that art, that I don't want to call it an art project
installation.
Not an installation, when he grew a beard and became a rapper for like a year and a half.
Performance art.
The performance art, I guess that's what we would call it.
Yeah.
And, no, not a joke. I'm doing this. He did some of it. He did. And then he stopped. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, the artiste thing is fine.
Hey,
but,
you know what? If you've got the money to fuck off and be a bearded bad rapper for a year or whatever it is you're doing, if you can afford to do that and that's what you want to do, knock yourself out, man.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
We can only be as eccentric as our bank account allows.
Right.
Once you start being crazy beyond your bank account, then it's called insanity, craziness, whatever.
Yeah.
But if you are, if you're being crazy within your financial means, you're just eccentric. That's it. If you had billions of dollars, sure, let's build that volcano evil henchman layer.
Yeah.
Because I can afford it.
Because
I want to do it.
Yeah.
But
so looking forward to that. Again, with great trepidation. Mainly because I don't. Again, I've said it a million times. The Joker shouldn't have an origin. He shouldn't have. He should just. He's a force of nature who just shows up, and how he got that way is almost should be irrelevant. This looks like a good story, though. And again, this is right out of the Killing Joke, Alan Moore's Killing Joke. It's the schlubby. He's a schlubby wannabe stand-up comedian who's got an overbearing, I can't remember if it's wife or mother. I think it's wife. And he's just beaten down by life, and he needs money, so he gets caught up with the mob, and there's like a character called the Red Hood who runs around, and it's just whoever's in the hood, that the mob puts in, and he goes to Axis or Ace Chemicals to steal something as the Red Hood, and this lunatic in a bat costume shows up and knocks him into the chemicals, and he comes out, and that's where we go. But at the end, so in the story, it starts with Batman visiting the Joker in Arkham, and they sit down and they're sitting at a table talking, and Batman says, this only ends with either one of us killing the other or both of us being dead. And I don't want that to happen. What can we do? Kind of. Which is a really interesting take. He's like, this only ends one way, and we need to figure this out. But at the end, the Joker's telling him this whole story about, and I was this. But at the end, the Joker says, yeah, but I've had so many origins, I don't remember what's real anymore.
And that may be the conceit of this film at the very end.
I hope they do something like that, because I don't. But I don't know. I'm very curious as to where we go from here.
I prefer the ending where they both die of old age separately, living their own lives. One in prison, one that works out fine.
Yeah.
And let's face it, with all our enemies, for the most part, unless we actively try to kill each other, that's how it always ends.
Well, yes.
Did you hear that Phil died? That motherfucker. Like, yeah. Well, me too. You know, that's the way it goes. And you know how sometimes in the Batman films that some of the villains, there's not enough villainy in one character. They have to have multiple characters.
Oh, yeah.
Even in The Dark Knight, we got a little touch of, was it Sandman?
In which one?
Scarecrow. I'm sorry.
Scarecrow.
Scarecrow, not Sandman.
Yeah.
Totally different franchise.
Oh, yeah.
Which also is coming to television.
What?
Sandman.
Oh, yes, but the Neil Gaiman Sandman.
The Neil Gaiman Sandman.
I'm thinking the Spider-Man villain Sandman.
No.
Yeah.
Scarecrow.
Yes, I've heard that, which makes sense with the success of Good Omens. Like, he had some leverage, and
they're like, please, let's write
what else
more
you
Good
got?
Omens. Like, I'm sorry, do you have the power to resurrect Terry Pratchett from the dead?
Yeah.
No? Okay, then. Well,
we won't do that.
Then we won't be doing that.
But I've got this,
and people love it, and it's well known that, okay.
And we can... we have the technology to make it work on television now.
Yeah, it's like, hey, John Travolta, wow, Pulp Fiction did so well. Your career is back. Let's get you into this. All right, I'll do that. We're going to do this other thing. It's called Battlefield Earth.
Yes.
Yeah, and I not something that as I nod and stutter in my head, not something that I can see Neil Gaiman doing. Like, no, we won't do Sandman. I got this other little nugget of garbage that would never otherwise be made, but now that I'm riding high in Good Omens, I'm going to shove this on.
Well, he doesn't have an agenda.
He doesn't have an agenda, and he doesn't have any like nuggets of shit.
No, not at all.
He has greater and lesser projects, but none of them are like, ugh, that's
right,
terrible.
Right.
But back to the villains.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that Joker is enough of a success that maybe he might be the new Joker when they reboot Batman again for the 90,000th time.
Okay.
Maybe, I mean,
that's what everyone's speculating. Yeah.
Well, you know who the ideal partner for the Joaquin Phoenix Joker is?
Who?
The villain,
Yeah.
Not Poison Ivy,
No.
not the. We've already had Danny DeVito as the Penguin, although he could still do the Penguin now.
Pretty much.
Although the Penguin from Gotham is pretty darn good.
That dude was amazing. Yeah.
Pretty darn good. No, the villain I want to see Joaquin Phoenix's Joker team up with is
Medication time. Medication time.
we ran out of time. I will tell you next week.
The 9 Billion Names of Pod was conceived, written, and performed by Michael Reed and Dan Bowman, with Abdul Benny Hassan as the sound of splintering wood. Research, transportation, and exasperated looks by Courtney Lohner. Technical assistance by Cubase, Pro Tools, Skynet, QLab, Deep Thought, Eddie, your shipboard computer, and something else. What's the next one? Technical assistance, legal counsel by the Office of Howard and Fine. Here's where I tell a joke about something. All right, that's enough of that. Watch us stream us on Stitcher. I lost my paper. Download us on YouTube. What's the other one? SoundCloud,
Stitcher, Spotify.
And until this happens again and I get my paper back,
who are you?
I'm Dan Bowman.
I'm Michael Reed.
Hello, Z.
Audio Primate.